Okay, so we have a Max-E Therm, a Sta-Rite Max-E Therm 400 heater unit that is not firing when turned on. And you can see that when you get you'll get a service heater light after the third attempt at ignition. And that's a fairly good indicator that it's an igniter issue, which quite honestly, after looking it up and seeing some other units and how they were replaced, it seemed like a pretty straightforward fix. And I'll show on the video later what the old igniter looked like, so you can see what damage would look like and cause it not to work. But I'm gonna take this apart, which is just 4 of these screws right here, down there, and on the other side, and let's get inside of this thing. Alright, so let's see if we can get this focused. Yep, this is the old one, and you can see right there it has been cracked, and that doesn't complete the circuit for this igniter to work correctly. And speaking to the people from poolzoom.com, which are great people, they quickly told me the right part number, and this is the new unit. It looks obviously very different, but works just the same, and they said that it lasts a lot longer and is more durable. But this is what our heater looks like when it's open. And to get this off is just these little pins right here, and that takes the controller right off. And then down below we'll get to the ignition switch. Alright, so down there you can see that hole and the 2 bolts sticking up, which is where we removed the old one. And there's really not even any remnants of a gasket down there. So when they send you the new one, make sure you put on the gasket like so and get that down in there. It is kind of tough to get past these other wires, but you can shift them out of the way and maybe tuck them back behind there, so you can get in there and get this in there, but can't hold the camera and do it at the same time. So 1 sec. So something to note is that the bracket goes down, the gasket goes on the last part like shown, and the bracket actually, the C channel would face downward when you put it all back together, and you'll see that when you take your old one off. So just make sure you do it the exact same way. So I'm going to put the nuts on. Don't tighten them too tight, otherwise you'll crack it. But I put the nuts right back on using a very long extension, and then I'll put it back together. This was my extension I used, and honestly I just hand tightened it because I didn't want to risk with the screw gun or even the socket wrench screwing it up. But all we're going to do is put those 2 plugs together, make sure you check any wires you might have bumped while putting it back in there, verify the on is on, all those fun things, and then we're going to put it back together the reverse way. And that should be it, and then we'll give it a test. And here we are, fired right up with no issues. And finally, I'm feeling hot air coming out. I've got the camera to steam up because it's pretty cold here. That's it. Part costs $75 from PoolZoom. I'll drop a link in there. Easy. Probably saves you about $300 in service fees and parts from a pool maintenance person.